There's 3 levels of awareness on the topic of death, and you need to become aware of all 3 of these different levels, right? So the first one is your own mortality, right? This is, of course, the highest level of awareness, which I just spoke very lightly upon a few seconds ago when I said that at one point death became my friend. I literally had to, because my mom passed away at a time where I was in a very high spiritual elevation, which is something that you guys are extremely lucky, okay? Because most people, and maybe some of you know that, have experienced death when you weren't awake, when you weren't conscious. It's a very different experience, okay? Now, as you awaken your mind and as you understand letting go, okay? So write this down so you get this, yeah? The first level is own your mortality. Take a note on it, take a picture, whatever you need to do, yes? To remember this, because I'm going to move away from this now, yeah? So this concept about breathing every day. Every time you breathe, I have breath in my body. I have life inside of me. I am alive, right? This is like the highest level of consciousness, to understand that the gift that you're looking for is not from your MBA. It's not from your next child. It's not from the fancy apartment you're going to buy. It's not from the beautiful man you're going to meet. It's the fact that you're motherfucking breathing. That is the gift. It's the gift that keeps on giving, because every time you breathe, you are receiving the greatest gift there is. Is this making sense? Maya. Okay? Imagine if you could remember this, not here, if it became embodied, yes. So when your ego takes you off on a story, some nonsensical bullshit, you can bring it back. Boom. No. And that's the awareness. That's the meditation. That is the practice. Yeah? To live on a daily basis. Okay? Practice daily is to live in reality. I live in the reality of what is. I understand who I am. A spirit having a human experience. This body does not belong to me. Everything that belongs to this body is not mine. Yes? It is a temporary borrowing. I have now borrowed this fan. I have this is a temporary moment. I will hold this fan. And at one point, I will not hold the fan anymore. Yes. This is on borrowed time. You came in, and as you came in, I believe with everything that is true inside of me, you received your go out card. Yeah? So some people come in for 1 hour, literally. There is a child that was born and lived a day. Okay? Some people come in for 10 hours. Some people come in for 100 years. Some come in for... This is reality. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be scared about. You just need to open your mind. Open your mind to reality. Okay? We're taught to live with our head buried in the sand. Yeah? And that's why it's very confusing for us when all of these things start happening, because we haven't been taught to live as spiritual beings. Right? Then you would be already practicing non-attachment to the body, to relationships, to things. You'd be practicing this from a young age, so it would be way easier, okay, for you. But now you're trying to reprogram a mind that has already been built to think it is immortal, like most people are not thinking about their death on a daily basis. Okay? The elevated mind does, because every time you breathe, you realize this could be over. That's the power of an elevated mind. It's just like, yes, I understand. Today, I have today. Go deeper, I have now. I have this moment. That's it. I breathe now. Yeah. And there's nothing scary about it. It's actually the opposite. It's liberating. It's empowering. It allows you to live with more joy, with more connection, with more peace, with more gratitude, with more meaning. Because you don't get lost in time. You don't get lost in the narrow box of a story, a lie. Yeah, brainwashed to believe that you have time. So you make a lot of drama. The more you know about reality, the less drama you can let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. I let go of those things that don't serve me. I know and I understand that things will come in and out of my life. Okay, let me continue to share so things make even more sense to you. The second level in the 3 levels of awareness on death is the one of loss of others. Loss of others, right? And this is through death that somebody dies. Somebody that you know could die at any second. Nobody wants to think about that. Nobody wants to, you're even taught to be scared about it. Be scared. Your mom might die. Your dad might, be scared. This is insane. They will die. It's the only thing we know for sure. That's the only thing you know for sure in this world. Nothing else is known for sure. Nothing. Nothing except death. Death is factual fact for most of us living on planet Earth today. Now, they might invent in some years' time some pill that allows people to live forever. For right now, the reality is you and every single person you know could die at any second. And so I want to encourage you to not feel afraid about this, to understand the bigger dimension of this. What if life on planet Earth wasn't the be-end and end all of it? What if there is a possibility that there is a spirit that moves through maybe different planets, different generations, I do not know, that continues, an essence that lives on? They actually did this experiment where they measured that the body of a dead person weighed exactly 3.3 grams or whatever, and it was a study, like a scientific study done. Yeah. So the idea being that there is something that leaves the body that has some kind of substance to it, right? That it can be measured in a weight of 3 grams or whatever it is. Okay? What if the spirit moves forward without the body, explores it, like we need to widen how we think about what's going on here. Clearly something freaking magical is happening here. Birth is already a miracle, right? An egg, sperm, but grows inside of this body and then produces something, right? That's the fact that we have so many different things and people and stuff to experience under the water. We were just in Thailand snorkeling, looking at the underworld. It's like fascinating. So like a whole universe on its own, right? And then we're here on planet Earth, and this is a whole universe. I mean, the amount of bird species and ant species, it's like insanely miraculous. What if there is no beginning and no end? Yes? What if when you take your last breath, the journey just simply continues to wherever it continues to? Okay? When I heard these concepts, when my teacher taught me this, it blew my mind. Because it is so true. It is so true. I mean, truth needs to be honored. Truth needs to be respected. There's very little that we do know. And what we do know, we need to be smart enough to know it like we know it, like we know it, right? And not just slightly know it. So I know that a lot of you know that death is the only thing that's certain, but you don't live with this awareness. And I'm asking you to do that. I'm asking you to have a bigger enlightenment. Become aware, yes, of the different levels. And even those that you love. Can you love them and show up powerfully? Like, this is it, this day, this could be the last time I ever spoke to this person. This could be the last time I ever hugged this person. This is reality. What would happen in those relationships if you started living with that awareness? Instead of what we do, which is take people for granted, treat them like crap, get pissed off with them, spend a lot of time being angry with what they said, didn't say, what they did, how they didn't say it, how they didn't do it, right? Being so fucking entitled, wanting them to be different. And then, when you think about them dying, suddenly you have a different moral compass. Why don't you shift that moral compass now? Honor the relationships that are in your life. Give them the best of you. Give them the love and preciousness they deserve. But that's a whole other time. I'm going to talk further on that. Okay? But I want to continue with my 3 levels. Okay? The second level on this awareness of death is the cycles of life. And this is very important to understand. Your life has cycles of birth and death. Reality. Okay? There are periods that are born, you're born. Like, for example, there was a period I moved from being a child to a woman. Okay? You start your period, that's the time they say there's something maturing. Okay? You can look at it from that perspective or not. It's up to you, doesn't matter. The point is, you cannot go back to a time where your body changes and there's a death of the child in you and there's a birth of the woman in you. Okay? So that is that's a cycle of birth and death, and it's happening in your life. Some of you, for example, Marianne, you've been in a relationship for, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 years, okay? And now that's dying. There was a birth. You met Mark, birth of the story, right? And then you rode that wave, and now there's a death of that story. And there's a mourning, there's a letting go. It's okay to feel something is dying in my life. Yes, something is changing. And then to celebrate the rebirth, because there's a rebirth of Marianne, the single woman who's going to create this other life, right? So if we could understand, to be able to go through these cycles, with love, with awareness, with care. I'm going through a death, right? If you move to a new country, if you suddenly moving to a new country, right? There's a death of your old life. It's gone, it's died, it's finished, and now comes a rebirth. Yes. Death in relationships, same thing. Yeah, you could be 2 weeks with someone, you could be 2 months, doesn't matter. There was a birth, and there was something there in the birth process. And then there is a death, and you can mourn it. I'm saying that when you understand these cycles, you don't mourn for years. You don't get broken and fucked up and your life is ruined. That's what I'm trying to wake you up to. You raise your consciousness, and you're able to feel the birth and the death process with grace, with kindness, with love. And so it doesn't need to take 5 years to get over your last relationship. It doesn't need to take you, 2 years of crying every day because your mother died. Or, and it's not even about time. It's about your mindset and what you're doing during those 2 years. To shed tears lightly and gently be like, oh, Mom, you would have enjoyed this moment with me. And then you let it go and you laugh and you smile. That's a different thing. But you guys understand what I'm saying. People get fucked up because of death. When what we should be taught to do is to celebrate life. The life that's still coursing through your veins. The breath that's still moving through your body. The opportunity that you still have to experience this planet this world, this happening. So yes, it's an important topic. It's a serious topic.